This is the Plot Thickens with Amy and Cassie on SwinRadio. Hope that worked. Anyways, this is Amy.
And this is Cassie.
It is 3 p.m. and you're listening to the Plot Thickens on SwinRadio.
We read and discuss creative writing live on air every Tuesday at 3 p.m. I always get so sad when we can't hear the little intro.
Yeah, I also never know if it's actually played until I go back and edit, and I also only clicked it once. I had a problem a few times where I was clicking the intro twice and it wasn't playing, but I clicked it once, so I don't know what it... Oh, why did you do that? Cassie just slammed her finger into the... Did you break your nail?
So trigger warning for this blood and gore.
That's a good point.
Good segue. We're remembering trigger warnings this time.
Let's do a trigger warning right now because you know who actually mentioned that on the YouTube video on Sweaty Jesus on YouTube.com on the previous episode from last week. You know who made a comment about the fact that we never do trigger warnings?
No.
Good friend Maxim Shorters.
Oh.
Commented on the last one.
Thanks, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Actually, we do need trigger warnings on these pieces for us.
For us?
For us and people who listen, but for us as well.
Yes.
Actually, okay, so a bit of a spoiler for this week's episode. This is my piece.
Woohoo!
Woo! This is my piece that we're reading as part of a two-part series that we're going to do. Next week we're going to be reading Amy's piece.
Yeah.
And this is a combined universe, an anthology series that we've been writing.
Yeah.
But right before this episode aired, Amy was like, we need trigger warnings on this piece. And I was racking my brain for AO3 tags.
Yeah, AO3, yeah.
I'm like major
Warnings.
Character death, blood and gore, extreme, like violence.
Yeah.
I'm like, what would AO3 say about this?
Exactly.
Hurt comfort. There's no hurt comfort in this. It's also an extreme
Hurt
violence.
no comfort.
Hurt no comfort.
Yeah. So trigger warning for this week. We also have to learn how to do proper trigger warnings as well, because I never know. So, mental illness, minor character death, spoiler, blood, and depictions of gore. Oh, that's gore.
That's
Gore,
Gore,
my favorite. That's Gore, my comfort character. So this week, it is Don't Look Into the Sun by Cassandra Wiley.
Yay!
And I'll be reading it. I didn't practice my southern accent before we came in here.
Whenever Amy reads this piece, she does it in a southern accent.
Yeah.
And she always has. And
Yeah.
actually, I asked for a split second, can you not do it in a southern accent? And she went, can I?
But can I please?
It does make sense to have this in a southern accent.
It does. And it's going to sound silly at the start, but you know what? I'm going to roll into it. I just didn't get a chance to practice when I started.
That's fine. I mean, the characters that I've always done, they do a southern accent as well.
Yeah.
But let's get into it, because we actually have a lot to do this episode.
Yes, we have a lot to say. We have a lot of workshopping for each other's stuff to do. So.
Yeah.
All right. This is Don't Look Into the Sun by Cassandra Wiley. Mama says rain like this happens because we ain't supposed to be here. That Mother Nature will continue to send attacks in the form of wind and water that tear through our roofs and mold our ceilings. A hassle for the parasites that settled on her land, but fuel for her children to grow. She tells me there's a war waging between us and the forest surrounding our town. She tells me to look for it in the shrubbery that overgrows the fences, that it will swallow us whole while we're not looking. I don't believe in such things. Not when Ms. Nancy explained the weather and photosynthesis to us one day, and I went home and called Mama an idiot. She didn't like that. Today's rain is thicker than usual. It was warm in the morning, but that's how they get you. Warmth turns to humidity, turns to muck. My throat clicks around phlegm, and my hands are sticky with sweat. Fortunately, the veranda of my school reaches under the large highway bridge, spanning almost the entirety of my walk home. Not that I'm one to care about getting wet. Mama says I should fix that about me, says it's not ladylike. A lot of girls will talk together beneath the bridges to go home, though I usually don't, even when it rains heavy like today. Any other day, I would walk with Davy over the top of the bridge, but I told her Ms. Nancy told me to stay back after class, and she waved goodbye with a smile. It's a believable lie, as Mama would say. Don't let your mouth run somewhere you can't follow. And Ms. Nancy is always asking me to stay back. Says she'll give me extra credit if I help her tidy the rooms and clear the chalkboards. She says I probably need it. When Davy climbs the final steps and disappears into the hail, I start towards the underbelly of the bridge. Excuse me. The wind chokes me with the string of my wide hat the mama makes me wear. She says the sun would burn my skin. How stupid of her. The sun doesn't reach this town. How could it? It can't be found on any map. The sun doesn't even know we're here. People here don't have freckles, apart from Davy. I bet it's from all that staring in the sky she does, never learning her lesson when she trips over the tree roots sprouting from the footpath. I keep telling her to be careful. You shouldn't look too closely at the sun, Davy. You might go blind. She doesn't listen to me, but she looks me in the eye when I talk. That's why I like her. Girls walk down different side paths until they filtered down to Marissa Ives and me. We both walked all the way to the back, where she would walk up the hill and I'd walk down. Marissa Ives is paused between a wall of downpour that would surely ruin her new shoes and freshly curled hair. She has a nice-fitting uniform and pretty white umbrella with bunnies along the edge and a lace design. I remember admiring it when she gave it to Mary May last week. I haven't spoken with Marissa since the Mayfield Festival, not since she watched me from behind the drinking taps, thinking I wouldn't notice, but her new shoes click so loudly on the footpath. I see her in the hallway, whispering about me to her friends, but I don't think she's telling them what she saw me doing that day, 'cause they don't look at me like she does. What's wrong? My voice battles against the rain to be heard. Can't handle the rain? If looks could kill, someone should blind Marissa Ives.
Mama spent so long on my hair this morning, she'll be upset to see it get soaked.
Mama says you only get a few chances in life. I've never had one appear to me like this before. You could always go around.
Past the tunnels? I've never gone that way.
It's easy. I'll show you. I hold out my hand. It's red and splotchy from the cold. You just need to follow the river. She looks at me in that strange way again, like she did on the evening of the Mayfield Festival, behind our school at the edge of the forest, where the older girls used to tell us stories of a girl who got eaten alive by a fox, where Marissa saw me, really saw me, for the first time, watching to see if the line would be crossed between the people who lived on the outskirts of the woods and the animals that lived within them, watching to see if bones crack and reform, shaping into someone not exactly a human, not exactly an animal. Marissa Ives was good at watching, waiting, nose and ears twitching when a noise goes off in the distance, waiting and watching. Look, if this is about...
I didn't see anything,
Marissa announces. She's far too loud, like she's trying to battle the sound of the rain. I could never tell when Marissa Ives was scared. She had this porcelain look to her, beautiful and expensive like the dolls in the windows. Mama always says expensive things are more durable. They last twice as long in the cold. I think that's what Marissa Ives is. The route takes you to the back of Payne Street. I can show you. Her eyes were icy enough to send a shiver down my spine, dull in color and emotion as she thought on her next words.
You're so weird.
It's up to you, I say. I take a step back and then another. I'm halfway to the turnoff before she yells out,
Hey, wait up.
As we walk, the stormwater water mixes with the overflow of the roads, and all rushes in a downstream current. Marissa's hands are clutching the straps of her backpack, soaking in the warmth of her frilly white gloves. What happened to your umbrella? I ask.
Stop talking to me. You're just walking me home. We're not friends.
I like the way Marissa talks, like she thinks the sky's fallen. So confidently incorrect. Why not? We both go to school together. I look at her. She doesn't look back. It's rude.
You know why. I don't want to be friends with an impotent.
Mama says that word. I'm not too sure what it means, but I don't think Marissa does either by the way she has to spit it from her tongue to get it out. She knows it's cruel, but that's why she says it, and looks pleased with herself after. It's okay that you forgot it. I forgot my umbrella too, so we both don't have one.
I didn't forget it. I gave it to Mary, and she promised she'd give it back to me by now.
I can get it back for you, if you want.
I don't think so.
We walked along the border of the town and the woods, where the animals would leer. This is where the foxes cross the river, I let Marissa know, pointing at the opening in the wood, where years of trampling have stopped the grass from growing.
That's ridiculous. Everyone knows there's no fox. That's just something the older girls say to scare us.
Are you scared?
Of an imaginary fox? Please.
Marissa turns up her nose and looks downstream.
There are real things to be afraid of.
We were both looking down the hill, watching to see any movement in the bushes along the stream. It's probably why it happened so quickly. It's always when you're looking the wrong way that something goes wrong. You don't have eyes on the back of your head, Mama always says. It's to remind me to watch my surroundings. Clearly, Marissa's mama never told her that while she was curling her hair, probably too busy talking about proper things, like lace and French lessons. That must be why she didn't see it coming. The animal pouncing, the instinctive step back she took to avoid it, the steepness of the pit. She screamed, and she finally did it. Marissa Ives was louder than the rain. Over the fence, and where the grass met the water line, Marissa's head cracked down the center, her curls soaked in the splatterings of her own brain. Skin doesn't shatter like porcelain, but the bones of skulls certainly do. The sky cries for a week, loud sobs that make it difficult to concentrate in class. When the clouds part and the sky clears, Davy decides she wants to walk home under the tunnels. It seems like we're the only ones with the idea, sharing the path only with cyclists scared of the wet roads above and people with flashing cameras. Davy takes a pause near one of the pipes. Stormwater pumps at a rapid pace, trying to keep up with the endless downpour. I've never been far enough to see the end of the stream. Even when I'd follow paper boats down the current, they'd always disappear faster than I could chase them. It feels impossible, like the length of the forest. Davy leans on the metal fence, peering into the deep pit. The grass is so overgrown it almost reaches her face. Droplets of water fall from one of the off-sprung grass stems at the same time one drops down Davy's nose. It's humorous in a way. If Marissa Ives was a bunny in a field, Davy is the grass, on the verge of being something real, something alive. What a horrible fate it must be, to live life prying your eyes open only to see with clouded vision, to breathe without lungs that expand, and to sit so still the sky pours on you the same as the tall grass. In Mother Nature's war, maybe Davy would be spared as well. Maybe she'd be mistaken for a child of the earth.
It's kind of creepy, don't you think? That someone can just die like that.
Davy's asking me a question, but it's not the one that spills from her lips. It's the one she asks in the tightness of her grip and the haste of her blinking. We stood in silence for a while, our socks soaked in mud, sores on our curling toes. On days like this, I can smell the frost, grass and ice in the back of my throat, and I forget I've ever been warm. The water rushes down the river. The current is louder than any car that drives across the bridge above us. Try as you might, you couldn't scream louder than the water. It runs like it has somewhere to go. I watch the force of it hit the sharp curve, scraping away more of the hill. It reveals nothing but another layer of dirt and gravel. Davy watches me through half-lidded eyes, like she is looking in the sun. I know she is watching me. She knows I know she is watching me. Careful, Davy.
By the way.
Davy speaks around the lump in her throat. Yes? You go blind if you look too closely at the sun.
Can I have my umbrella back?
And that was Don't Look Into the Sun by Cassandra Wiley.
Yay! How did it go?
Oh, that took it out of me.
I heard you struggling at some points. You did good, though.
Thank you.
That's good. Nice. So the next one. I don't know what to say about this piece.
Did it not add to the atmosphere?
I think it did. I think it did.
Yeah. And I feel like...
You're just not the voice that I had for the character.
Oh, okay. I kind of, because...
You're the voice I would have for Davy, if I'm being completely honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Because my thing is that... We'll get into Davy next week. My thing is that... Also, that's one of my questions, actually. And I'm going to ask you now. How old are these characters?
I'm going to give a bit of context before we start kind of doing this, and that is I have not thought too much about this piece. I wrote this piece for workshopping last year. It took a total of 1 hour to write, and then I never looked at it again until we decided to choose it to do a test run for the Plot Thickens before we actually started doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So I haven't put that much thought into these characters. From thinking about it more and working on it with you a little bit, doing the anthology series, I would say these characters are supposed to be anywhere from maybe 11 to 13 or 14. Okay. 13's the oldest I would probably place them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I would have picked maybe 16 oldest.
Ah.
Yeah, because it is purely because of How are we going to refer to this character? Is this character
Right.
we're referring to her as the fox because she's not named in it?
Yeah, this is an unnamed character, and the whole point of the character is she is the fox. And the way that me and Amy have been referring to her is the fox.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way to refer to this character.
Yeah. So to me, even for like an entirely like disconnected and intelligent 13-year-old, she's way too mature
She's too mature
for a
yeah.
13-year-old
I
in
think
my
that
eyes.
that leads into like, because I kind of wrote this based on like me, and she obviously doesn't have a great home life. Her mother is mentally ill. She's kind of the talk of the town. There's no mention of a father or any other father figure. So to me, she kind of like matured very quickly, and that's kind of how I can give a bit of description to that. But I can see that you thought she would be older.
Yeah.
It does feel like a very mature character.
Yeah. Just, yeah, I don't know. Obviously.
Yeah, I think I wanted to make them more immature and childlike in moments. I wanted to mention moments of like skipping home or like, you know, more childish features that kind of reiterate that they're very young. But then if they're like skipping to go see the place where Marissa I've died, it felt a little out of place.
Yeah, a little bit.
But if I was going to make this like a longer series, and we'll discuss it in a minute, there is definitely going to be more childlike
Yeah, because
characteristics for the characters.
my thing for the fox is that she is way too self-aware to be that young, I feel like. Because at that age, even if you are an incredibly intelligent person like the fox is portrayed to be, you're still not that self-aware. Like, you're making these actions, you just can't really understand why you're doing them.
I think I'd be pretty happy to place them at like 14.
Okay, yeah.
I think that probably fits like how we're both kind of perceiving the character.
That feels a little bit more mature
Yeah,
for
the fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could understand Davy maybe being like a bit younger.
A bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote Davy very, like, curiosity was kind of her main characteristic. And I actually didn't think that much about Davy when I wrote her, which we'll get into next week. But Davy was never a character that I wanted to focus on. I wrote this story based on, like, a specific thing. I wanted a plot line or a plot twist piece of dialogue right at the end of a piece that recontextualized the entire piece, which is the umbrella line, where it's like, can you give me my umbrella back?
Yeah.
Which reiterates that, like, the fox had an umbrella the whole time. It was a preconceived murder. I was going to say murder attempt, but... It was...
We were thinking of trigger warnings, and Cassie was like, manslaughter? And I was like, yo, that was not manslaughter. You wrote the piece.
Yeah, it's not manslaughter. But it recontextualizes that this was, like, an intended attack.
Yeah.
And a planned attack. So Davy's character primarily served that purpose when I wrote the piece.
Yeah.
But I like that she has more, like, childish.
Yeah.
Child.
But we will get into it later with the fact that you didn't give a lot of context to Davy, and I went, oh, I will.
I
will.
But I did have a lot of thoughts about... We'll get into that in Davy's episode. We're starting to talk about Davy already.
I know. I love her.
I know. She's your favorite, and I didn't put any fucking...
Oh, my God. Any freaking...
I'm so sorry. I didn't put any effort into her. My one F-bomb, and it happened on Davy. That makes sense.
What the hell?
I don't hate Davy. Do we want to do some workshopping first, or do we want to kind of get into the...
Well, do we want to talk about tongues and teeth?
Tongues and Teeth? So this is a song that me and Amy feel kind of...
Strongly about
this character.
Because... I don't know how much to give away. Basically, this anthology is like, it's 4 characters, the fox and Davy, and then it'll also be about Ms. Nancy, the teacher.
Written by me.
Yeah. And then...
oh, no.
No, I'm writing Ms.
Sorry.
Nancy. And then the sheriff.
Written by me.
Which Cassie will write. And kind of just like assigning songs to all of them. So currently, we have Tongues and Teeth by the Crane Wives for the fox. And I will play a snippet of it now for you guys.
I've grown a mouse so sharp and cruel, it's all that I can give to you, my dear. And when you come in quick to steal a kiss, my teeth will only cut your lips, my dear. I know that you mean
that song. That's
I
one
love
of my
that
favorite
song
songs of all time.
I know, it's so...
Could you not hear it through your...
No, I could.
Oh, you could.
It was pretty quiet.
Yeah, it was quiet for me as well.
Okay.
Turn it down. That's fine. But I will actually ask, because you've assigned this song,
Yes.
and I do agree, but why did you originally decide to assign this song to Fox?
I guess, I mean, the whole premise of the song is that it's like, it is very much the way that I see the Fox and Davy, which I know you view the relationship between Davy and the Fox very differently.
Yeah.
But to me, it's so hard to talk about it without getting into Davy as like a character.
Do you want, like, I'll discuss my interpretation, and then for your episode, you can discuss your interpretation?
Well, because we're doing Tia Kane in the next one. So for this, I will just gloss on the fact that, from my perspective, I believe there's some sapphic undertones between the two of them.
Whoa!
Where,
from Davy's perspective towards the Fox?
Yes, because it's definitely unrequited. I don't think the Fox is capable of loving someone. Or even just like romantically, I think she's capable of respecting, which is what she feels for Davy.
I think the opposite. I think she's capable of love but not respect.
Okay, that's interesting because it comes from your line of like
oh damn.
The one where she says,
"But
"But Davy looks me in the eyes."
That's why I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which just gives me more of a respect feeling rather than like
Than love.
Yeah.
I do see that. When I wrote Davy and the Fox's characters, because I know I said I didn't really touch on it, but me not touching on something means I thought very in depth about it.
Yeah.
I never write something without like a million different themes and metaphors. So there's like the metaphor of the forest,
and
like
nature
and
in
nature,
general,
and like kind of the war of humans versus nature. And the Fox and Davy both in a way are kind of a middle ground where the fox encapsulates an animal, and she's more violent and aggressive, and she's actually like a creature, whereas Davy is like Mother Nature. She's the earth, and she's the soil, and she's the grass specifically is what she's tied to. So both of them in a way, if you're going to view it as kind of like humanity and nature, both of them kind of exist on this middle plane where they're more intelligent than their small town.
Yes.
Like, and they have these ability to ask questions, because also in my pieces I like writing about religion and like questioning religion. So this is a very small town. We'll get into it more in the other parts where it's more of the adults and more into Davy's part, but it's a very religious town. And the fox thinks she's above that. She has these like narcissistic tendencies. She genuinely believes that she's smarter than every other person and everyone else is dumb. Yeah. And she's very emotionally mature and she's very insightful. And I think, without tooting my own horn, I think that comes across in the piece of how like it's written, like how the actual structure of the words and sentences. Yeah, she speaks very intelligently, and thinks and like can recognize stuff in people's faces. Yeah. But their relationship is, from the fox's point of view, is Davy is immature. Yeah. She views her as curious, and she likes that. She actually sees her as something alive, something that's like going to live, but she doesn't see her as a creature, as an animal. She doesn't act. She's almost alive. She's almost something real. Yeah. But she's not there. And I think the fox will never see anyone as there except for herself. Yeah. She does believe she's kind of above it all. Okay. So she kind of views her as like this almost toy that she's kind of playing with, something that entertains her, something that's almost at her level and who can quip back and forth, but still ultimately something like disposable and useless. Yeah. Okay, is how I kind of view them.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, because I definitely view like, again, we'll get into it later, Davy has an unrequited love for the fox. Yeah. Where I don't think she knows what it is. Like,
definitely in this town as well. Probably wouldn't be accepted.
Yeah, because we talked about the setting, kind of. What did we even say?
Oh, a while ago. I think we said the 50s.
Yeah,
when I originally wrote the story, it was supposed to be the 2000s.
Crazy.
I guess I just have an old-timey feel. Yeah. I can see the 50s. I would place it more like 60s or 70s though.
Yeah, I definitely, especially within a small town.
Within a small town,
as
especially
progressive.
like the AIDS crisis and how that brought upon like this mass hysteria when it came to Christianity.
Yeah.
And those kind of religions. I could definitely see 80s as
Yeah.
being, and
I could as well.
talking like this isn't my piece. Anything I say is canon. But yeah, I'm really open to like discussion about this piece because this is something that we're workshopping together. But I definitely see that from Davy's perspective, her being.
Yeah, I
sapphic.
definitely write it like that, and I definitely read it like that as well. Where
Yeah.
Davy has this pull towards the fox, and the fox again is sort of like toying with her a bit.
Yeah.
Like sees that in Davy, sees Davy's like sort of attachment towards the fox, and kind of plays with it a little bit.
Yeah. It's also Davy's the only one who talks to the fox.
Yes.
There's a lot of characters who don't, and it's not really shown in this piece because she doesn't interact with too many people, but it's pretty clear she's very isolated.
Yeah.
And she's kind of the talk of the town. No one really likes her.
Yeah.
Simply because I didn't want to use the word, and I'll touch on this. There is a word that is continuously used without this piece, which is impotent. That word is in place of the R slur, because I'm not comfortable using or saying the R slur, but for context of the piece, that word is meant to be used to kind of signify how mental illness was so stigmatized and how it completely outcasted the family.
Yeah.
And how kind of terms like that are like used to harm people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have some notes here.
Yeah, hit me with
Okay, cool. I already did that one.
Tick it up.
Yay. Yeah, it was just the stuff about the age of the character. I said, yeah, if younger in age, more naivety.
Naivety, yeah.
Yeah. And the mama stuff works for it as well. Also works in a southern context as well.
Yeah.
Mama.
I think the naivety comes across in Marissa Ives' character, though.
Yes. Yeah.
That like kind of
small
older
town,
youth.
like, lives in a bubble.
Yeah, especially because so much of Marissa Ives' character was meant to be like, she's meant to be a doll, essentially.
Yeah.
For both how the fox sees her and how the world sees her.
Yeah.
With her mother dressing her up and her mother doing her curls and her having like fresh shoes. Like, she's meant to be a porcelain doll in everyone's eyes, not just the fox's. And it's like, I know the fox is the only one who actually sees that.
Yeah.
It's kind of the intention that I was going with that character. But Marissa Ives, I think, feels very young, youthful, naive.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Or I can, just see it as, like, more of, like, a bratty teenager. Like, young teenager.
Yeah.
Who, has just lived in this bubble all her life. Yeah. Oh, this is one thing that I struggled with when writing my piece as well. I can't get a clear idea of where it is that they're walking all the time.
Yes. Okay. So this is primarily because this is based off of one very specific area where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to describe it, but this is a thing I think that only exists in Australia. And you know those massive, I hit something. Those massive like drain pipes. There's like usually it's like a bike path or a footpath, and there's two of them. And then it goes down, and there's like a stream, and at the front of the stream, or somewhere along the stream, there's giant drain pipes where stormwater flows out. And when I was a kid, there was a massive one that led to my nana's house from my house. And I would constantly walk down there, and we'd put boats in the water, and we'd watch the boats go down the stream. And that is specifically what this is based off of. But there's not a word for it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very Australian setting. And if I was going to rewrite this a little bit, which I might look into doing, I would change the setting slightly to instead be this very one specific place to just being a stream.
Okay. I like Under the Bridge. I like
Yeah,
that
I
a
would.
lot.
The bridge is a pretty important part of
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah. But some of the setting messed with my brain a little bit.
Yeah, it messed with my brain and I was writing it.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was not a previously completed piece. I literally was taking out brackets and like random things an hour before we came here because it wasn't completed. So yeah, I would probably fix that up.
Yeah,
because it's such a hard setting to capture. I hope people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I sort of saw it as like, like when there are streams, there's like those big walls to like cut off some of the water, like big like concrete walls or something, and with like storm pipes coming through it.
Yeah.
With rushing out water.
Yeah. That's
And there's a
what it is.
bridge like right next to it at the edge of the
Because
town.
there's always a bridge for some reason.
Yeah, and so under that bridge does sort of like a little enclosed space.
Yeah.
But in my head there was a path through the wall to like keep walking through a little bit.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay, the way it works, you'll have to view this on the thing.
Yeah.
This is the road. It's above water.
This is
This
Cassie's arm.
it's an arm. This is the main road, and there's a hill that goes down and back up, and it goes underneath essentially. It's not that steep, but it's pretty. There's like an incline, and this is like the path, and then down here, and then you've got the water here.
Yeah.
It's such a hard description to give.
When we actually write it, we'll get illustrations.
But I'll draw something.
Yeah.
I'll go take a photo, and please don't dox me. I don't live there anymore.
I did have one nitpicky thing.
Yeah,
is
hit me
that,
with it. Is it the double water? I did catch you saying that.
there is that. I only
Stormwater
just picked
water.
that up. It is the use of italics for dialogue and emphasis.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree. Because I was.
Okay, cool.
No, I completely agree. I use italics as emphasis and as dialogue that happened previously. So all of the mother's dialogue pieces for the
Is in italics.
is in italics. So the like, don't have eyes in the back of your head. Don't let your mouth run somewhere you can't follow.
And so is some of the fox's thoughts.
And then some of the fox's thoughts,
which
are
is like,
italicized for
careful,
emphasis.
Davy. Like, that's all in italics as well.
Yeah, I agree. That does get confusing.
Yeah.
Trying to think how I would fix that. I don't know. Maybe change some of them to bold.
You could do, because the thing as well is that this is done in double quotation marks. You can change some of them to single quotation
single.
marks
That
as
is
well,
true.
which gives you more leeway to do all of that.
I
as
like
well.
double quotation marks.
I used to, but you know what? I've been indoctrinated into the Australian way
You've
of writing.
left me.
So yeah.
We had this conversation on.
I'm sorry.
I'm heartbroken. Move
I'm
on to the
sorry.
next
I
one.
don't want to lose points. I lose enough for my grammar. I don't want them
Yeah,
to mark
me
me
too.
down.
Double water.
Yeah. One of my things was that you had too many full stops and you needed to put some commas in place of the full stops, but you've gone through and edited this since I have read it and done my notes for it last night. So I don't know how much that still applies anyways.
Yeah, fixing my workshopping.
Yeah. The connection to nature versus human nature is a very interesting part of the story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Discussion. Yeah, when I also wrote this piece, the biggest thing I wanted this to be was about nature, like above anything else.
Yeah.
So I wanted the feeling of the town is enclosed by nature, and there's this war that nobody recognizes except for the mother, who is deemed as delusional and crazy.
Yeah, which I think the idea is that we see that more in the sheriff,
Yeah, we see that in the sheriff's perspective.
because he has conversations with the mother.
And I'm pretty sure he's the only character that does have conversations with the mother.
Yes.
Very interesting. Yeah, but that's what I wanted to get with the nature theme. I also just like writing about nature. I think it's a good way to kind of... I like to personify places. So I think when people are feeling like death and when people are feeling life and worry, that's really well shown through like nature and setting. It's like the sky crying to show that the town is sad.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the town being completely enclosed by nature, but then them not believing that nature is like a war. It kind of shows that they're not open to like outside views. They're
Again,
kind of
like
blind
living
in
in a
their ways.
bubble. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of going for with the nature vibe. So good to see it paid off.
Yeah. No, it very much works with the piece. And I think is why so much of it just made me think of the 60s. Just like a very shrubbed up, like, very much like Picnic at Hanging Rock, it reminded me of, where it was
I do
like
love that film.
natural lands, like, but I I've never seen the film. I read the book and I watched the series. I had to.
You had to.
I had to for literature in year 12.
I had to watch the movie.
I haven't seen it. But the themes of a very natural landscape with very proper clothing, which is what I got from Marissa Ives with the lace and the umbrella and the gloves and everything. Like, it just felt very Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Yeah.
With this very, like, fluffy skirts and frilly.
Yeah.
And
I also wanted the contrast of that, of, like, nature to me is also super gory. So there's a lot of times I'm discussing, like, the rage of the current or, like, it's smashing against rocks and, like, leaving nothing or just showing another layer of nothing. And that kind of mixing with the gore of Marissa's death.
Yeah.
But also showing that nature can be kind and soft, but there's a danger to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of two sides. And that's also why I wanted to tie in, like, the animals. Everyone's kind of got these animalistic features of, like, being a bunny or being a fox or being a blade of grass.
Yeah.
Or it's, like, coexisting with nature almost.
Yeah. And I also wrote some questions.
Whoa,
as well,
into the questions.
because we have the author here with us.
Oh my god, when are they coming?
You did mention before, definitely, that this was inspired by your life. Killed a man once. And also the setting of...
Yes.
Yeah. But was there any other inspiration, especially for the character of the fox?
For the character of the fox?
Yeah.
Nothing really comes to mind. I know I wanted to write a character that was kind of outcast and a character who doesn't understand that their, like, maturity comes... A character that kind of views their maturity as, like, a superpower.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because, and this is leaning back into, like, kind of how I grew up, is, like, when I grew up and then I became very mature at a very young age, I kind of viewed that as a good thing.
Yeah.
And, like a superpower. I kind of felt that I was above other people because they didn't understand things like I understood things, and that made me smarter or better. But that's not good.
Yeah.
You know, you have this air of superiority and this air of narcissism, and it kind of halts you from actually talking to people and, like, having these experiences. So I wanted a character that felt so out of place and, like, what they thought made them special was actually making them worse.
Yeah.
But they don't see that at all.
Which is also going to be very interesting once we bring other perspectives into the story. Because I think, this story within the anthology is going to have a much different tone to, like, every other story. Which is,
Yes, this is the story I would argue that has the most internal dialogue.
Yes.
Because the fox doesn't talk to anyone. That's another thing. I wanted her to be incredibly isolated. And I wanted her to be solely focused on Marissa Ives.
Yeah.
I wanted, like, even Davy is such, like, a nothing kind of character to her.
Yeah.
Whereas Marissa Ives has, like, a full title name where she only uses Marissa in moments of kind of obsession, where she's like, Marissa saw me do this. Me and Marissa are doing this kind of ownership of Marissa. Yeah. But she has this obsession, and she views other people as kind of nothing a little bit. So that's kind of what I wanted to get with the fox. And she that actually kind of happened, like, naturally. I didn't intend to write her that way. And I actually didn't even intend to really write her as the fox at all until I was workshopping. And someone was like, so obviously she's the fox. And I was like, oh
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Originally there was a real fox, and the fox, the girl, is kind of using that to cover. Yeah. And I don't know how much of that I actually want to keep, because I don't think this girl is going around on a killing spree. But yeah, so a lot of this actually, like, unfolded kind of naturally. Yeah. And I thought about it later and added, like, parts later.
Yeah. And that's the best way to write.
That's the best way to write.
Just get it all out there and deal with the specifics later.
Like I said, I wrote this in 1 hour. I really just word dumped.
I also had something to say. For the writing, I think you should stick with Marissa or Marissa Ives when...
Yeah. I
the
think
fox is talking about her.
when I was editing this piece, there are a few places where I put Ives
Yeah.
into when I just had Marissa, and when I go back, I will touch on that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to turn all of them into Marissa Ives.
I
but
think you should too.
when I was like doing the flow of the sentence, which I know no one cares about this, but when I write, I care so much about how my sentence flows.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not an easy sentence to say, I will scrap it, even if it's a really good sentence. And there are sentences still in this that I really like that I'm going to scrap.
Yeah.
Because I think they're too convoluted to read, and I think that breaks the pace of reading and makes it less enjoyable, which I think is just like a harsh reality. I like when I'm critiquing my piece, I can be as harsh as possible, because I think that even if a sentence is beautiful, if it breaks the illusion of reading, it's ruining the intention of reading.
Right. Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that, where it's like remain consistent, but I also need to find a way to make that equal, where it's like, is this ruining the flow of the sentence? How can I reconstruct the sentence to make this fit?
Yeah. But definitely stick with Marissa Ives.
Yes.
Because that shows...
I agree, because that's such a huge part of the character.
Yeah, and also, like, in some ways, shows... again, like, sort of like a bit of respect that the fox might have for Marissa,
Yeah.
but also removing her from herself and just sticking her like to her family name as well. I think is very interesting and works very well for the character.
Thank you.
Yeah. In your mind, what happened at the Mayfield Festival?
So in my mind, and actually I was going to write this, and it's kind of referenced, and I guess I can kind of pull it up. So the line here, watching to see if bones crack and reform, shaping into someone not exactly human, not exactly an animal. So originally the line bones crack and reform is meant to be what Marissa Ives saw, which is the fox is killing a bunny.
That is exactly what I was...
Yeah, she's
hoping
snapping
would
the
be.
neck of a bunny behind the school taps at the Mayfield Festival.
Yeah.
And then I added more to the line to make it seem like the bones cracking and reforming is the fox shaping and forming into a fox rather than a human being, which is that like outskirts of the town and like the actual animals merging. Interesting, I guess, if you want to know how I write, but no one does, so who cares? So yeah, that was what happened at the Mayfield Festival, and that was originally going to be a scene, but I'm not too pressed about it being up in the air.
I think there should be a little bit more to the scene because the Mayfield Festival is mentioned twice and then never mentioned again.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting in the sheriff's story if he mentions finding a bunny with a cracked neck. If it's just like offhandedly mentioned.
The Mayfield Festival is actually based off that one. I don't know if it's a short story or a poem, but the one it's like, be careful, there's a man in the woods. That's what it's based off of, which is like a story where a boy constantly goes into the woods and says there's an animal. And the teacher eventually gets fired, but then the teacher goes into the woods and the kid goes down to be like, there's an animal in the woods, and then the teacher's out there and kills him.
Yeah.
So that's the original inspiration for the Mayfield Festival, fun fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think definitely a little bit more mention or like later.
Yeah, I think there's something to say about her killing a bunny at the Mayfield Festival and then relating Marissa Ives to a bunny.
Yeah. Or even if trigger warning depictions of gore.
That's gore. That's gore, my favorite. My comfort character.
Marissa Ives.
That's Marissa Ives, my comfort
My
character. We all know
Um,
Davey's your comfort character.
I love Davey.
And the fox is mine.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting if instead of snapping the neck, the fox smashes the bunny like skull.
Oh, I like
Just
that.
as a direct comparison, because then she can say something like, even like the porcelain line also works, but also like her skull, like the sound of the skull cracking was obviously not these words, but louder than the bunny's skull cracking or something like that.
I think the reason that I didn't have a line about the bunny is I just couldn't write a line that I was happy with. I think that's an interesting point to make on just writing in general, where you don't like how you say a sentence, so you cut it out and it kind of loses part of the story.
See, yeah, I don't do that. My writing process is very different, where if I don't like a line, because I do a lot of handwriting, I'll put 2 asterisks next to it, and then I'll come back to it later.
That's what I do. I put a bracket around it.
Yeah.
And you probably saw that so much when you were reading the test piece. And then I had to remove all the brackets, so this actually
And then a
flowed.
lot of my notes also don't apply to this anymore.
About the brackets, yeah.
Oh, also just about like grammar because you've gone through and corrected
Corrected it, yeah. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Yeah, about the bunny. I don't know how much. I guess we can talk about this. So when we create the ebook and we're going to add photos, the picture I actually wanted for this scene, the Mayfield Festival, is a fox with a bunny's neck in its mouth. Like if you've seen Zootopia. That's not what I'm referencing in this, but just to give a visual, that's kind of what I want, because that's kind of how I viewed this scene.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
You haven't seen Zootopia?
No.
That's crazy. Anyway.
Yes. I think I have.
This is fun. I like getting into it.
What do the umbrellas represent within the story?
You were really running out of questions, huh?
No, I was interested. Because I saw it as like social class a little bit.
Oh, I really didn't think of anything. Umbrella, again, like Davy, was a means for a plot twist at the end of the story.
Yeah.
And then I had to work that into it. And then Marissa Ives' umbrella being frilly is just another symbol of her being prissy and rich. But I do like them as social symbols, and I think we can even use that in the anthology series. When we have Marissa Ives' funeral, obviously it's going to be raining. There can be a large group of people, all with different types of umbrellas.
Yeah.
And I think it's Davy who witnesses the funeral, and she's an
Yes,
intelligent character.
I'm writing it
so
from-
that can kind of go into that as well. Because I do like that. And I think there's a few places here where I talk about kind of class symbols, especially with like Marissa Ives goes up the hill and I go down.
Yeah.
And then in other perspectives, it's the family or the house at the bottom of the hill, which is,
I also get into.
yeah, which is meant to represent like the bottom of the barrel. These people at the bottom of the social class. So I like that.
Yeah.
If we incorporate that,
Especially like the
class
kinds
systems.
of umbrellas as well. Like even at, I'm just gonna mention it now because I'm gonna forget it later. Like in the funeral scene that I'm gonna write for Davy, like hers is like almost broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like her umbrella is broken and she's surrounded by all these people with these frilly, prissy umbrellas. And then in my headcanon, the fox doesn't even own one.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she probably wouldn't have money for one, honestly.
Exactly.
Her mother probably wouldn't give her one.
Exactly.
I love writing fan fiction for my own stories.
I think that's just called
Canon.
Yeah, I think that's just called writing.
Yeah.
Is there anything that inspired the character of Marissa?
Genuinely a porcelain doll. There was a short animated video, and this is something that happens all the time in films. I'm about to out myself. Black Butler has an episode like this as well, where like human souls are put into dolls. Like specifically, like a child will look through a window of a toy store and see a bunch of dolls, and the eyes will move. And I guess that's kind of how I saw Marissa Ives in a way, is she's a doll that doesn't realize she's trapped.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know if you ever saw that animated short film where there's like foxes in the walls, and one of the foxes takes the place of like a young boy, and then he views him from an outside like window, which is a mirror, and he watches like his life play out as this fox has taken his life.
Yeah.
I guess in a way, those kind of horror aspects or unsettling aspects are what inspired Marissa Ives, where she's kind of a character that's doomed to her own tragedy. Because she really is meant to be a character in someone else's story.
Yeah.
She has no substance and life of her own, and anything she does have is prissy and proper and perfect.
Yeah.
And I think one of the original lines I had for Marissa Ives is poor perfect Marissa, or perfect poor Marissa, where beneath this beautiful like porcelain and shiny and smooth exterior, there is nothing underneath it that makes it of substance. And I guess that's how I saw Marissa, where she really is like doomed to her own situation. She has everything to gain and nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of saw that as a bit of a tragedy, where even she doesn't realize that this is a tragedy for her.
Yeah, I mean, that also, again, adds to, I like the context of it being 50s or 60s in a small town where it's like, as a woman, like, you're only...
You're able to do certain things.
Get married.
And I think that
have
comes
children.
out a little bit when we talk to Marissa's mother, which I believe will be in the sheriff section.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
Also, just about you talking about the thing about the fox, like the boy having to watch his life, like...
That's such a good animated short story. I don't remember what it's called, but
It reminded
people should
me
watch
of a short story from the Five Nights at Freddy's universe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lovely. We're nerds. Me referencing Black Butler, you referencing FNAF.
Oh, I love
Oh,
FNAF.
lovely. So yeah, I guess Marissa was kind of very loosely inspired. I would say like back of my mind inspired by that, where I just wrote her as a character and then I fleshed her out later.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think this piece says about the way that you write? You get it all out in 1 hour?
I mean, a bit about the writing process. Like I said before, I write everything. I very rarely have a first draft or any kind of drafts. I will completely write everything in its entirety, and if I don't like a sentence, I'll put it in brackets and go back to it later. But that doesn't happen every other sentence. It's every few paragraphs because I write within the mind of a character. And I guess that's why this character's coming off as very narcissistic.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of how I like to write, as if someone's like directly coming from someone's mind.
Yeah.
And I change that up based on the character. If the character is not as smart or not as intelligent, or if they view things a different way, that is how I will write the story. So every piece of dialogue and every line in this is very intentionally crafted to sound sophisticated, even if it's saying nothing. Like, which I don't like to write sentences that say nothing. I like to always have it kind of mean something, but...
Yeah. But, I mean, even that gives it its own
yeah,
inflated sense
every
of self.
sentence in this is meant to be, like, that's, like, snobbish.
Yeah.
Or that's, like, you know, narcissistic. I keep using that word, but it's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way that the character comes off. Or even, like, sociopathic. Like,
yeah, she thinks she's, like, better than everyone else.
Or is copying behaviors from other people and...
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it say about what you like to write?
I like to write, very mentally ill women.
Yes!
With sapphic undertones, apparently. I do
According to me.
I do like sapphic undertones. I guess I only ever really write women.
Yeah.
And I think women are really interesting to write about because I think a lot of the time they're pushed to these, like, brinks, but they're never able to express it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why I like writing historical context so much.
And also first person.
I don't usually write first person, actually.
Well, like, or within internal monologues.
Yeah, within internal monologues, yeah. Usually I write third perspective first person. I don't know if that makes sense, but like that.
Like a third person that focuses on a specific character.
Yeah, a specific character and the internal mindset of a specific character, using she and her and character's name. I think this says that, well, what I hope it says is I like showing actually what's beneath the surface, because if you step back and look at the Vox from someone else's perspective, and I guess we will, she's a very silent character. She doesn't say much, and she doesn't do much, and she doesn't act much. But within her own head, there is so much thinking, and I like to write the thinking process. I like to write how her thoughts go from one thing to another, and how she almost justifies it to herself. How she never even says in her own mind that she's the one killing Marissa Ives. She's saying that, like, an animal attacked her, and she's taking joy in watching the setting, but she's almost distancing it from herself.
Yeah, disconnecting her mind from her body.
Yeah, which doesn't happen within the rest of the piece. So I'm not saying that I'm a good writer, because I definitely think there's a lot of room for improvement. But I like writing stories that are crafted very intellectually, without trying to sound like a narcissistic to myself. One of the things I really try to focus on is making a character feel consistent throughout an entire story.
Yes.
Where this character is meant to feel like this. And I think I always bring up colors. For the fox, the colors are very gray and black and orange, just for the fox fur color. But it's very harsh and strict and straight.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question, but
yeah,
I think that's how I like to write.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The whole thing about it, she thinks a lot, is that I'm sort of going to delve into that, especially within Ms. Nancy's piece, where my idea, because there's a line about how she has to help Ms. Nancy sometimes with, like, the chalkboards and stuff, is that at some point she will say something to Ms. Nancy that implies something a bit more sinister.
Yes.
And Ms. Nancy is like, whoa, like...
That's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be like to other people an idiot.
Yeah.
An imbecile.
Yeah.
Because her mother is... I don't think I officially chose something else. I think I'm going to go with schizophrenic, likely, but they probably don't know what schizophrenia is in this time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because my idea is that Ms. Nancy takes pity on the fox. Because the whole thing with Ms. Nancy is that she also isn't very rich as well and is like a single woman in this town. But so she takes pity on the fox and sort of tries to help the fox a little bit.
I think she probably would be the only character who does that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or adult character, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's sort of what I wanted to delve into until maybe, obviously it won't be exactly like this, we'll brainstorm this, is that maybe she mentions like, oh, how are you holding up after Marissa or something like that. And then maybe the fox slips up and says something about how a fox got her or something like that. Or like, obviously not exactly that, but something that makes Ms. Nancy go, whoa, like...
I think the fox would genuinely just say like, what's that meme with like, it's a bad day for rain?
What?
It's an anime reference.
Okay.
Like, I think if Miss Nancy brought up how do you feel, the fox would just say like it's a tragedy, something like that. And I don't want to delve too far away, but there's a line that kind of like in the fox's perspective where Davy, I wanted to originally write something about Davy where it's like, what do you think dying feels like in this conversation at the end that they had at the river, and then I just ran out of time. Or word count, more specifically. Yeah. So Davy asked the fox, what do you think dying feels like? And the fox says freedom. And then in Davy's section, the fox would ask, what do you think dying feels like? And Davy says imprisonment.
Yeah.
So I think there's like a air of jealousy that the fox almost has when it comes to Marissa Ives dying. She's able to finally 100% connect with the earth.
Okay.
So she doesn't even view death as like something bad. It's like freedom to her because she hates... You know, for all, as intelligent as she is, and I guess I'm adding myself here, the smarter you think you are and the more mature you think you are, the more you realize that you kind of hate yourself. You've got more ability to, like, hate the situation that you live in and feel that it's unfair. And because you feel your situation is unfair, you feel like you're better than other people because you've survived something worse than other people. Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to carry across with that.
Okay, yeah. We'll workshop it. We'll get the timeline up. But,
Yay!
Yeah.
I hope I'm not, like, we sit here and, like, talk about other people's creative writing, and then I read my own, and it's just, like, horrible.
Oh my god. It's a very good piece of writing, obviously, because I read it and went, oh, yeah, I'm going to write something about that now.
Give me this.
Thanks so much.
I'm trying to think of, like, any last-minute things. I think a big part of the story that I didn't really touch on is the mother. I wanted the mother to be, like, this constant voice in the back of her head. Yeah. Even, like, she doesn't view her mother as crazy. Because she does believe in what the mother's, like, saying about, like, war between the earth and the people. And, like, she does view nature as, like, a sentient creature. So even she doesn't view her mother as crazy, even though she calls her an idiot. And I feel like the mother is such a big part of the fox's character. Yeah. As well. I also don't know where I want to take the fox's character. A lot of the other characters, I have ideas of who I want them to interact with and the, like, themes I want to follow, but no one interacts with the fox in my head.
Yeah, I could see that as well.
Yeah.
I also just did want to mention, because I actually didn't say anything about it before, Tongues and Teeth, the song by the Crane Wives, is very much, it reminds me of the fox with Davy, where the fox is like, I will only break your pretty things, I will only wring you dry of everything, and if you're fine with that, you can be mine like that. Like, in like, you can see everything that I am, and you're going to stick around, and that's on you.
We're almost out of time, but I think it's really interesting that the fox constantly hides, but she knows Davy sees her, which is what I wanted to do in that line. It's like, Davy is watching me. She knows I know I am watching her, or whatever the line was, where she's not afraid to be perceived because she knows Davy has no one else to tell. She knows Davy craves curiosity and intellectual conversation, and no one is willing to have them with her except for the fox. So she knows that giving everything, even with the line of, like, she asked me a question, but it's not the one that comes from her lips. What Davy's asking is, did you kill her?
Yeah.
And the fox essentially says yes. And they're kind of talking to each other in this code. So only they are matched by each other, but the fox still views her as lesser than. We have 6 seconds.
Nice, you got it all out. All right.
Outro!
Outro.